Hello and welcome. My name is MaryAnn Anderson, and I'm the founder and creator of SmartGrant. In this video, we will have a closer look at the grant records in the database and also explore how to use the Grant Planner feature. After you've logged in, you'll be automatically directed to your personal dashboard. Returning to one of our previously saved grant searches, let's have a closer look at these results and what a grant record looks like. I'd just like to note a few things about this grant search results view. The list of grant programs load in chronological order by the upcoming deadline date. On the list, you'll see also dates that say things like Q1 or Q2. The reason for this is because that particular funder has not yet advertised what the next deadline date is for that program. But we have an idea of what we think the deadline will be based on what it was last year. So how we approach those within the database is that we put them as TBA by funder, which means they've yet to be announced. We don't want to put a specific date in here because we don't want to confuse you or give you an incorrect date. So those are simply tagged in this way for you to know that the date has yet to be announced. When we go to update the record within the system, that will automatically be updated on your search results. Additionally, if you go to the bottom of your search results, you'll see programs that have what we call rolling or constant intake deadlines. These are programs that you can apply to at any time. So there's no particular deadline date attached to it. So no matter what dates you might input into your search parameters for deadline dates, you will always get rolling deadlines included, and those will always appear at the bottom of your search results. So let's have another look at what a grant record looks like. So from your search results page, you have this list of grants that is now appearing. If you want to have a quick look at what each program is about, you can click on this little arrow over on the right side, which opens up a window and shows you a little bit of a summary of what that program is about. This way you don't have to open the full record if you don't wish to, if you just want to get a sense of what this program is all about. Then we can close that again. You can connect to the full grant record by clicking on the hyperlink here or clicking on this view button here. It doesn't matter which you choose. All the grant records in SmartGrant's database are entered into a standardized format that we created specifically for this platform. And the information within these records is pulled directly from each funder's public records and guidelines found on their own websites. We created this format so the information we provide subscribers is always standardized. And so when you review and compare programs, the information you need will always be easy to find. So when you open any grant program record, they will all look like as you see them here. So let's take a look at all the main sections in these grant records. As you can see, it has the name of the program, it has the name of the funder. If there's a stream associated with that funding program, that would appear here. There's a little logo to help you identify it as well. If you wish to take a look at this program directly on that funder's website, you can click this link here and it takes you directly to their site. You don't have to look at ours if you don't want to. You can go directly to their information. At the top, there's always a summary, usually a paragraph or two that that gives a primary summary of what the program is about. If there's any special caveats or eligibility requirements or notes, for example, say the program's been suspended, or you're an organization who's not a charity, but you could apply as a nonprofit organization if you had a charity partner, you will get those sorts of those important notes right at the top of the record here. This is when the record was last updated in the system when we went in and updated. This section is application deadlines. You can see for this program, the next deadline is July 4th, 2025. And here we've put in a Q3 of 2026 because we have a sense that it probably will be in July next year, but we simply don't know that just yet. Any timeline parameters, notification dates, etc. Deadline time, for example, some funders have specific deadlines, times of the day that you need to have the grant submitted. Program information, funding source, there's various options here, whether it's active, where the funder is located, and the funding type. Grant range, so it's the maximum amount that you can apply for, any other notes around the grant range. Contact information for this particular funding program. This next section has to do with guidelines, and there's a number of categories that all standardize here. All of the text in these sections, you can open each section to read it in a little bit more detail, but all of this is taken verbatim and copied from the guidelines from the funder on their website and put into this section. So we do not write any of this material, we take it directly from the funder's websites. And as you can see, it includes general program description, eligible activities, eligible applicants, eligible expenses and activities, exclusions, for example, anything that the funding does not fund, funding program does not fund, required information, what you need to apply, assessment criteria, if there's assessment criteria, assessment process and notification details, and whether or not this particular program gives priority to equity deserving or underserved applicants. If you find that the section in here is blank, it simply means that the funder does not have information that corresponds to that category. Some funding guidelines are very detailed and some are just simply not. So we put in as much information as we can find. Application guidelines has to do with the application process. So whether or not it's through an online portal account or you email it or deliver it, if they have any account requirements, whether or not there's a preview available of the application form, any special instructions on how to complete it, application limits, for example, further information, for example, if they have instructional videos or a past webinar, things like that. The eligibility section below then speaks to who is eligible to apply to this program. So that simply lines up to your profile. And this is a checklist of whether or not this is open to organizations or individuals. If this program was open to individuals, you'd also see a little box next here that happens to do with individuals as well. The required location, this program is Canada-wide. If this was related to a specific community, you would see that. Eligible disciplines and eligible equity community requirements. So this program is what we call generalized, which means everybody can apply to it. Organization, and the next section has to do with the type of organization that can apply here. Again, if this was individuals, you'd see a separate box to do with the type of individuals that applied here. This goes through all the different types of legal structures for organizations that can apply. Minimum length of time, there's no time requirement for this one. Activity operational level, and organization type again. Below here, we get back to the search parameters around eligible types of projects and activities. So this one says your project can take place anywhere in Canada, age requirement, eligible project disciplines, and at the very bottom, we have those 12 categories again. So this one we've tagged with applicable things in presentation, sector development, equity deserving. So that's essentially what a grant record looks like. So now let's have a look at the customizable grant planner function that we've created for you. Say you're interested in this particular program and you want to add it to your grant planner. How we do that is that we scroll down here to the application deadline section. And you see over on the far right, it says add to grant planner. The reason we put this here rather than someplace else is because we want you to be able to add a specific deadline to your planner. So say, for example, you've decided that July 4th is really coming quickly and you can't possibly apply by this deadline. So you want to add the one from next year to your particular grant planner. So what we do here is we click here, add to grant planner. When you do that, you get this pop-up menu that says, do you want to add it to an existing planner? I have 2 planners in my system, or you can create a new third one if you wish to. I'm going to add it to one that I already have in my grant planner, and I'm going to select this one and hit submit. So you can see here it's added to the grant planner. You can go to the grant planner page. You can stay here. You can continue to search and look at records. Let's just say for the sake of our demonstration, we're going to go to the grant planner page. So the grant planner is something I created that reflects the kind of work that I've done for clients over the last 20 or so years. And what it is it reflects a planning document that I often create for my clients to help plan out their year or projects or particular focus they want for their grant planning going forward. So when you take a look at this, it loads in the same way. You can see this is a planner that I have for some of my clients, for some of the work that I'm doing for them. And this here is our little demo one. So we added that one today here at the bottom. You can see the one we added to it. So for each of these things on the grant planner, you can add your own customized details for this. And if you open this, if you click on it, then you'll see what those details are. So we call these your private application notes, and these are customizable to each of these programs that you add here. So you can see what all these are. But I'm going to click on edit because I'm going to show you how we add this, how we talk about these things. So let's say we have, so this opens up in a pop-up window. We have it in this group. Let's say you want to add it to a different one or add a new one, you can do it here. The date the application was submitted, let's say it's today. Amount applied for. You can, when the grant is approved, you can get amount, you can put in here the amount that was granted. You also have an application status. So say this is scheduled or say applied, we're waiting. You can click here if it's been confirmed. Interim report due date, final report due date. If it has an interim report, if it has a final report, this will help you keep it organized. And then this final category here is this section is about notes. So we can add whatever notes, say June 22nd, spoke to funder, all is a go. Or say you have a staff meeting, it doesn't really matter. So this allows you to customize all your record keeping around this particular grant. So we're going to say save. So if you go back to this now, you can see all our customizable notes that we put in on this section. So that's essentially what the grant planner looks like. And you can add as many or as a few as you wish to this. You can add future deadlines, whatever's in the system to create a customizable feature here. And that's essentially the grant planner. And you can create a few grant planners depending on, you could do it based on your whole year. You could do it based on a specific project, whatever works best for you as an individual or for your organization.